The biggest threats to your future success: distractions. And I'm not talking about your competitors or the people who doubt you. I'm talking about all the little things that you let creep into your day and steal your focus. It's the notifications on your phone. It's the endless scrolling on social media. It's every little thing that keeps you from doing what you know you need to do. Here's the thing. The biggest risk to your future isn't your competition. It's the distractions you keep in your life. You see, distractions are sneaky. They don't look dangerous at first. It's just one video, just one game, just one message. But all these just ones add up. Before you know it, you've wasted an hour, then a day, and eventually years of your life are gone, and you're still not where you want to be. If you want to succeed, you need to get ruthless about cutting out the things that waste your time. Focus on what really matters, and everything else, let it go. Now, before I move on, I want to let you know that not everyone is going to think the same way as you do. And that's okay, because you have to be a bit delusional to achieve greatness. This is why what I'm about to say next, 99% of people will never do because they are afraid. Let's talk about taking action. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for the perfect moment to start. They think, oh, I'll do it when I'm ready, or I'll start when the timing is right. Let me tell you something. There's no perfect moment. The timing will never be perfect. The stars will never perfectly align. And waiting for that magical moment, that's just another form of procrastination. The perfect moment can be when you feel your worst. It's hard to go to the gym every day. It sucks. But you have to do it, because this is where your mental strength comes from, and you will feel better afterward. You know what happens when you wait? Nothing. Nothing happens. In fact, the longer you wait, the harder it gets. You've got to start taking action now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel like it. Now. Even if it's just a small step, take it. Because progress is progress, no matter how small. And the more you act, the more momentum you build. That's how you start creating real change in your life. Before you know it, it starts to get easier, and you'll be glad you started. I think people get lost in comparing themselves to others and end up thinking that they will never be successful because they see the people around them. The people around them are lazy and settle for the worst, and this doesn't motivate them to do better. Instead, be average. Success isn't easy. If it were, everyone would have it. There are going to be times when things get tough, when you feel like giving up, when you're facing challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But here's the truth. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It's not luck. It's perseverance. Most people quit when things get hard. They hit a roadblock and think, well, maybe this just isn't for me. But success doesn't come to those who quit. It comes to those who keep going, even when the going gets tough. It comes to those who push through the obstacles, who keep grinding, who refuse to give up. Every time you feel like quitting, remind yourself why you started. Remember what you're working for, and then keep going, one step at a time. There's no such thing as overnight success. I know you've heard stories of people who seem to have made it big overnight, but that's just not the reality. What you don't see is the years of hard work, the countless failures, the late nights and early mornings that came before that overnight success. We live in a world that's obsessed with instant gratification. We want everything now. But real success, it doesn't work that way. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes patience. If you're constantly chasing quick wins, you're going to be disappointed. Instead, focus on building something that lasts. Play the long game. Put in the work every single day and trust that the results will come. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's being around negative people. You know the ones? They're always complaining, always finding something wrong, always dragging you down. Here's the deal. You can't afford to have these people in your life. Their negativity is like a virus. It spreads. And before you know it, you start thinking the same way. You've got to surround yourself with people who lift you up, who challenge you to be better, who believe in your vision even when you don't. Cut out the negative voices. Distance yourself from anyone who doesn't add value to your life. Because if you're constantly around negativity, it's only a matter of time before it starts affecting you. Criticism is something that holds a lot of people back. We're afraid of what others will think. We're afraid of being judged. We're afraid of failing in front of others. But here's the truth. If you're doing anything worth doing, you're going to get criticized. People are going to have opinions, and not all of them are going to be positive. But you can't let that stop you. Here's the thing. Criticism usually says more about the person giving it than it does about you. Most of the time when people criticize, it's coming from their own insecurities, their own fears. It's not about you at all. So don't take it personally, and definitely don't let it stop you from going after what you want. You've got one life. Don't waste it worrying about what other people think. Everyone has their own idea of what success looks like. For some, it's money. For others, it's freedom. For others still, it's making a difference in the world. And that's great. But here's the thing. You've got to define success for yourself. Don't let society or your parents or your friends tell you what success looks like. It's your life, not theirs. Success isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. What makes you happy? What makes you feel fulfilled? What gets you excited to get out of bed in the morning? That's your success. And it's okay if it doesn't look like everyone else's. The only person you need to impress is yourself. The only person you need to make proud is you. Time is your most valuable asset. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So, how are you spending yours? Are you investing it in things that move you closer to your goals? Or are you wasting it on things that don't really matter? We live in a world that's full of distractions. There are a million things fighting for your attention at any given moment. But you've got to be smart about where you put your time. Focus on the things that matter most. Cut out the rest. And remember, every minute you spend doing one thing is a minute you're not spending doing something else. So, choose wisely. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that the real work happens when no one's watching. It's easy to put in the effort when you're being recognized, when people are cheering you on, when there's a reward waiting at the end. But what about when no one's paying attention? What about when the results are nowhere in sight? That's when the real work happens. Success isn't about what you do when everyone's watching. It's about what you do when no one's around. It's about putting in the work day after day, even when it feels like no one cares, even when it feels like it's not paying off. Because eventually, it will. Eventually, all those hours of hard work, all those sacrifices, all those times you chose to keep going when everyone else quit, they'll add up. And that's when you'll start to see the results. Lastly, we're all different. We all have different goals, different dreams, different paths. There's no one-size-fits-all formula for how to live your life, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. Your 20s are a time to explore, to make mistakes, to figure out who you are and what you want. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out. It's okay if you're not where you thought you'd be. Life isn't a straight line. It's a winding path with ups and downs and twists and turns. So, stop stressing about finding the perfect way. Instead, focus on living authentically. Focus on doing what feels right for you. And trust that as long as you keep moving forward, you'll end up exactly where you're supposed to be. One thing I will say is to never commit too early to any girl in your 20s. You are not on the same biological time clock as a girl. A girl's life starts at 18 and a man's life starts at 30. We are not the same. This is just reality. So there you have it, some of the most important truths about success and failure that I've learned along the way. Remember, success isn't about being perfect. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about showing up every single day and putting in the work. It's about staying focused, taking action, and refusing to give up, no matter what. Life is short. Don't waste it waiting for the perfect moment, or worrying about what others think, or being held back by fear. Take control of your life. Cut out the distractions. Surround yourself with positive influences. Define success on your own terms. And most importantly, keep going. Because at the end of the day, the only person who can make your dreams a reality is you. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. And remember, don't forget to spend time with your loved ones, because if you don't, you will regret it in the future. Until next time, stay strong.